Let's jump right to the AFC Championship game here. This is a great game, guys. Bills at Chiefs. I believe that one of the Chiefs' loss this season was to the Bills. It ended their chance at a perfect season. Kansas City is the favorite, -1.5. So that's, you know, the home team gets 3 points in the NFL. So this is basically a pick 'em. I will say this is the fourth meeting between them in the playoffs since 2021. Bills have lost the previous three. So, guys, we got a rivalry.
Look, Kansas City, let's talk about just the back and forth in this. And I got to say up front, I love Josh Allen. I'm a huge Josh Allen fan. And I would love to say that they were going to take this. But all in all, their records, Josh Allen versus Mahomes, they're 50-50. However, in the playoffs, Josh Allen has never beaten Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is 16-3 in the postseason. Meanwhile, Josh Allen, he's what, 7-5? And here's the thing, Josh Allen, he is that quarterback that a team just wants to get around. They want to be behind him because he's going to put the team on his back. And that shows in his 9 rushing touchdowns this year. When nobody's open, he scrambles, he makes it into the end zone. However, Kansas City, their defense is no joke. They are physical. They're ready for Josh Allen. In that first matchup, they barely lost, and they were missing a couple of really big weapons on the offensive side. And that offense for Kansas City, they're just too well-rounded, too methodical, and it's going to be a really high-scoring game.
Evan, I got a trivia question for you, real quick. Name a quarterback that has a receiving touchdown each of the last 2 seasons.
I'm going to say Josh Allen.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. So this guy literally does it all. And if it wasn't for Lamar Jackson going nuclear this season, Josh Allen would be the NFL MVP. They have a little help. James Cook, 1,000-yard back. He's a good guy. But honestly, guys, this team lives and dies by Allen. He's going to have an epic, special game for this to happen. So, Cam, I know you're about to say something crazy, so just spit it out here.
I was really hoping Evan was going to take the Chiefs. I genuinely had no idea. I thought I was just going to be splitting hairs on the spread. Okay, so the good news is here, Evan, I have a bet for you going towards next week. The loser, and honestly, this is maybe better suited for the winner, now that I think about it, has the opportunity to jump on a table like a Bills Mafia fan. What do you think of that, Ev?
Break your ankles.
I don't want to break an ankle, but I'm
How
definitely willing to break some ribs.
how high does the table have to be?
It's just a normal height, table. Some people may reference it as fraternity
All right.
pong.
As long as we split the cost, yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
And
And
if
is
I
that
break
winner or is
anything,
that loser? Because I
hold
always
on.
think it is a rite of passage.
Well, I'm going to say it's a loser only because I know for a fact I'm injuring myself on this if I lose.
Okay. So loser jumps on a table.
Yeah,
Done.
loser jumps on a table and you have to pay the medical bills.
I have good insurance. I hope you do too. I'm happy to pay your deductible. Um,
All right, Cameron, give us your thoughts without giving us your pick.
all right. So obviously I'm leaning a different way than Evan is. I look at the Bills. They've been excellent for the past 5 years with Josh Allen. You guys already mentioned it. You live and breathe and die by Josh Allen in this game. This is the most efficient version of him that we've ever seen. I believe that with his ability to throw and buy time, forcing man-to-man scenarios because you have to respect his run game with a spy, I think this is a really, really good matchup. Josh Allen had 531 yards in the regular season. Additionally, it's part of what I really think forces them to have to respect the fact that he can run. The key question of the day for me is, can Kansas City's corner Trent McDuffie and Shamari Connor guard Bills receivers Khalil Shakir and Curtis Samuel? In the previous game, they gave up 128 yards and 1 touchdown. So, and let's remember the Bills won 31-20 in that prior matchup. Amari Cooper was also just learning that system. I'm also leaving out Kincaid. There are a number of weapons on that offensive side. And the other question I have, can the Bills defense contain the Kansas City offense? Andy Reid's ability to dial things up in the postseason is the best that there is, period. Nobody does it better than he does. However, in the prior game that they had this season, Mahomes was held to under 200 yards, And Mahomes was also held to under 200 yards in the last game that they played. I think that Greg Rousseau will need a couple of sacks in this game, but I really like the Bills D line.
The Chiefs have won games on offense, defense, and special teams this year. They've come behind in a lot of games this year. Guys, Patrick Mahomes is having his second worst statistical season since becoming a starter. Kansas City leans on its defense, ninth in points allowed. Now, here's the crazy part. Only one player on their defense, Chris Jones, is going to a Pro Bowl. So my point is, this is just a really, really solid group of guys that play well together. And all I'm saying is, I think both these defenses are going to come to play. You guys ready to move on, or any final points on this?
I actually have one more point
Yeah, go
for
ahead.
you, Joey.
Yep.
In the last, okay, this is coming from Sharp Football Analytics. Found it online while I was trying to research some
Sponsor us.
flag throwing. Chiefs have played in 11 playoff games since 2021. Do you know how many times the Chiefs have had more penalties than their opponents in the playoffs?
Uh, Probably every year, right?
In those
Yeah, but
11
what-
games,
Oh,
how many
th-
times have they had more penalties than their opponents have?
I'm gonna say more than less.
Sure.
I'm gonna
So you're
say
gonna
more
go
than
with, like,
50%. I'm gonna say 6.
Evan?
Yeah, sure. 7. Price is right.
The
Come on,
Chiefs have not had a game, period, in the playoffs, 0, where they have had more penalties than their opponent. If you feel that that is ironic, in the regular season, they have 57% of those games they favor. I'm not somebody that ever calls on referee bias in a game, but
As an Alabama fan,
if you were ever looking for a reason to dive in a little bit deeper, if you think that there's not a single playoff game that they've played in the last 5 years that hasn't been the case, that's a bit ridiculous.
Guys, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are America's team anymore, because the team actually located near our nation's capital just might be America's team. I'm talking about the Jayden Daniel led Washington Commanders. And I'm going to say in my head, it's Commanders, 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 because I mess that up all the time. Philly, unfortunately, Philly's a 6.5 point favorite, basically a touchdown. Over unders 47.5. But guys, Jayden Daniels is a bona fide star. He's a lock for Rookie of the Year, and he should honestly get votes for NFL MVP. But you guys know this guy really well, being from Atlanta, Dan Quinn. The guy has coached his butt off this year, and he has a team with nothing to lose, and they're one win away with a rookie quarterback from going into Super Bowl. Cam, you want to dive in here?
You got it. So the Eagles have allowed 16 points per game in the playoffs. However, the secondary was roasted for 320 yards last week against Matthew Stafford, and the D-line has given up 100 plus yards on the running game over the last 2 games, or per game over the last 2 games. Meanwhile, the Commanders are putting up 34 points per game, averaging nearly 300 yards through the air. And then you also have Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler, who have been lighting it up on the ground. I really like Jayden Daniels. I think he's played an excellent season. He's been super efficient, but the Eagles just have a ton of talent on this roster. It's going to be really hard for them to overcome. Are we giving our picks now, Joey, or are we waiting?
We're waiting. We're waiting.
You got it. Over to you, Evan.
well, yeah, so like you said, Jayden Daniels has been absolutely phenomenal this season. He has, I mean, he's been nearly perfect. They're just not that well-rounded of a team. On the opposite side, we've got an Eagles team who has been really phenomenal. However, who knows if Jalen Hurts is going to come out as a healthy player? You know, he hasn't had a couple good games here, going out with an injury, I believe, in the last game. Now, the other thing is the big question here is Dan Quinn and this Washington defense. They are the 3rd best in the NFL on passing defense, but I think they're 3rd to last on rushing defense. So the X factor here is really Saquon Barkley.
Eagles aren't going to pass the ball.
They
You might
can't
as well
pass the
bench
ball.
AJ Brown.
You don't even need to. That's the fun part, because you got hopefully a mobile quarterback, and then you got Saquon Barkley, who has combined in the 2 times they've played Washington this year, I think it's 296 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's a lot. Where on the other side, you got Jayden Daniels, who has passed for just a bajillion yards, but he's also their head rusher on the team with over 800 rushing yards. So it's going to be a good game.
There's
I
one
was
really interesting fact on this one. That's the weather. It'll be 30 degrees at kickoff, which will potentially impact tossability through the game.
Yeah, dude, that game the other day, you see all that snow? That was
Hmm.
absolutely nuts. That was
I was
really
going
cool
to
to
say,
see.
I'm pretty sure it's a high of 42 that entire day. So, I mean, this is basically Florida for the Eagles.
One last point on the Eagles. I mean, Jalen Hurts has been a game manager this season. When you have a back that rushes for 2,000 yards, you can do that. Eagles can beat you with the pass or the run game. Don't forget to have Devontae Smith and AJ Brown on the outside as a pretty good wide receiver tandem. Honestly, the Eagles this season they'll take what they can get from the opposing team. They'll just run it at you all day and win by 6 points if they need to. They've only had 7 wins this year by double digits, so half of their wins have been by single digits. And I think most of them have been by a touchdown or less. So they're not really the team that I think is going to feel like they have to blow Washington out. And honestly, they've struggled a little bit this postseason, even though they won both games. So I'm saying don't count Washington out. And maybe that's a bit of foreshadowing for what we're going to do next. You guys ready for the pick party?
No.
Got my party hat on. All right. We're doing this.
The
All
fact that you
right.
had to prepare with the party hat just made my day.
We only got 2 games today. Pick party. AC 1.5 point favorite. Over unders 47.5. You guys have to pick, Kansas City spread, Bills to cover and lose, or Bills money line. Just so, we have some differential in picks here. So, Evan, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So, uh, obviously, with the line being 1.5 for Kansas City, I'm picking Kansas City. They're going to cover. One thing that I do need to say about the over/under on this, and I probably won't comment it on the next game, but I think this over/under, I would take the over. The Bills are pretty much automatic for at least 3 touchdowns, pretty much every single game, and I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to really blow off the doors on there. So I would take the over on that one. Second
Emmington?
game.
Uh,
Oh,
let's
sorry,
uh,
Brian.
let's let's get his
Yeah.
picks on this one first.
All right, so the score that I wrote down was actually 40 to 31. I have Bills winning this game. I think it'll be a really fun one to watch. Obviously, that's an over.
So you have Bills to,
Bills going over. Yeah, that would be what, 61 points, 71 points.
but do you have them to
Yeah,
cover or
I have Bills winning outright.
you have them winning outright? Okay. I got Kansas City to cover -1.5. I just think Josh Allen has to just be absolutely amazing to win this game, and he's going to have to be perfect. And somewhere in the fourth quarter, this is going to be a close game in the fourth quarter. Somewhere along the way, he's going to throw a pick, or there's going to be some mistake made that allows Kansas City to, I think, come back and win this game in the fourth quarter. I think they will be down in the fourth quarter. Uh, they're just like cockroaches; they won't die. And they're getting to that point of being like the Patriots, right?
Unless it's the officials that keep him in the game, I really think Buffalo's ready to take one to the jaw and absolutely respond with a knockout punch.
You think the NFL has the script ready to call down in the fourth quarter and get this to overtime?
I don't think it's a script, but if you have Xavier Worthy running down the right side and there's a questionable PI call, 9 times out of 10, that's being called if you're the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Eagles Commanders, Evan.
Yeah, so I've got the Eagles on this one, and I've got them to cover. Like I said, big story about this one is that run game on the Eagles. I don't think that Washington defense can keep up with it. They're going to chew a lot of time off the clock. They're going to score, and they're not going to give Jayden Daniels a whole lot of time to score. He's going to have to score really fast, which he's very capable of doing. But I don't know if he's going to be able to put the entire team on his back. So I'm going to Eagles, and I'm going for them to cover.
All right. I'm expecting, what is it, 47.5. I wrote down 20 to 24 Eagles to win. I don't think that the Eagles are going to cover, but I do think the Eagles are going to win. I think Jayden Daniels is going to play an excellent fourth quarter. I think it's probably 13-24 going into it. Eagles are held shut out in the fourth, but it's just not quite enough to overcome.
Honestly, guys, I'm going Washington. I just think to go in to Detroit against the best team in the NFC and lay a whooping on them. Now, Detroit had a lot of injuries, so let's preface that. But to go in and do that, this team is scared of nothing, okay? And I think this is just their year. I think that they win outright. And if this is a close game, do not trust Eagles kicker Jake Elliott, 28 for 36 this year, and he missed 2 extra points last week. So do not trust that guy if this is a close game. I think the Commanders win, and I think the under hits. I think it's going to be
So
a very
Joey,
tight game.
Joey, I'll ask the question we're all wondering. If Jayden Daniels wins this game, is he the greatest rookie quarterback of all time? Or is he already, in your opinion?
I mean, it would be tough to not put him up there, right? If you go to the Super Bowl as a rookie. And it's not like this guy is a game manager on a team that's already built to win it. Like they have a lot of great pieces. They did great in the offseason with their defensive pieces, adding to their defense. And Dan Quinn has done a great job coaching, but Jayden Daniels is the reason this team is where they is. So, yes, yeah, greatest rookie quarterback.
One thing I do want to give the Commanders a lot of credit for, they
Yeah.
underwent a new general manager, new coaching staff, new DC, new OC. I mean, the amount of turnover, I believe they were expected to have 6 wins this season. To be standing where they are, still in the playoffs, is absolutely incredible given what the expectations were.
Evan, you're watching the show. You like it. What's the first thing you're going to do?
I'm gonna like, comment, and subscribe to this whole shindig.
Maybe you can share it too. I'd love to have this get in more places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, guys, we love to hear from you. We started to get some more comments. We'd love to post your comments up on a future episode. So call us out. If you don't agree with us, let us know. We would love to debate with you live on recording.